What's good, guys? Welcome to another episode of Learn from the Pros. I'm here with my assistant coach, Michael Huger, legend in Belgium. Appreciate you coming on. So tell me about, you played in college for Bowling Green?
Yes, I played at Bowling Green for Jim Larinaga, who's now the head coach at Miami, Florida. And after playing for him, we actually played in a tournament in Holland called the Harlem Basketball Week. And that's where my agent found me, Jan Luchtenberg, and asked me if I wanted to continue playing when I was done with college, and took the opportunity to come out and play for Finland. My first year out, I played in Turku, Finland, and had a great experience playing in Finland. So it was a lot of fun.
So that was rookie year, and then you went straight to Belgium, or were there any steps between?
After playing in Finland, I spent 2 years in Holland. My first year was in a small town called Hartkum, and we went to the championship, lost the championship that year. The following year, I played in Rotterdam, and I was the Dutch MVP of Rotterdam that year. So it was a lot of fun. I averaged 25 points a game.
I had to throw that in
6
there.
assists. Yes. So it was a lot of fun.
People remember to this day.
Yes, and then I went on to Belgium.
And so how long were you in Belgium for in total?
I spent 9 seasons in Belgium. I played 4 for Eddie Castillo's. Spent 4 with him, well, 5. Spent 4 with him in Antwerp and 1 in Ypres. And then I went on to Liège, and I was coached by Giovanni Bazzi, was my coach in Ypres.
Okay, and so backtracking a little bit, so coming straight out of college, going to Finland, was it a big adjustment for, young 22, 23-year-old?
It was definitely a big adjustment for me going to Finland. I've been overseas with my AAU team, Riverside Church. We went to France, and I've witnessed France, but I'm with my buddies. I'm with, all my colleagues that I grew up with, so it was a little different. We spent 10 days over there. Going to Finland was my first time experiencing it on my own, and it wasn't any other Americans on the team at the time. So I'm the only American. They gave me a restaurant that I can go eat dinner at, so I basically ate by myself all the time. I'm still learning how to cook properly for myself, so all of that. And it was hard because Finland, the sun came up at 11 a.m. and it went down at 1 p.m. So we had 2 hours of sunlight, so it was dark the rest of the time. So it was kind of miserable over there. So
it was basketball and not much else.
Basketball, and that's it. But I met a couple of the Americans on the other team, and we started to hang out. And then I found out my city was the second largest city in Finland, Turku. And Helsinki is the big city, but everybody came to Turku to party. And it was the weirdest thing because Tuesday night was the party night. So Tuesday was their Saturdays.
How come?
I have no idea. No one could ever explain that to me. But Tuesdays was the Saturday night, and we played our games on Tuesday. So after the game, everybody goes out to the club on Tuesday. And it was definitely the weirdest thing I've ever experienced.
I was going to ask you, so you think that's the biggest cultural surprise that you felt in any country over your time during your time overseas, or?
That was the biggest surprise on just how they partied and how long they partied. And then the next thing was they have these saunas, the steam saunas, and everybody come together, men, women, everybody's in one place just walking around. Yeah. So that was new to me because I've never been in a place like that to experience that. So those are the things, and just how cold it was. I mean, it was probably the coldest place I've ever been.
And you're from New York, so
and
it's
I'm
not
from
like
New York. So that tells you right there.
And so going to all these places, was there any difficulties language barrier wise, and how did you manage that?
Most people, even in Finland, they spoke English, so you get a chance to manage everything, and everyone wants to test their English. So that was the beauty of it.
Yeah, for
Once
sure.
they see you and they know you're from America, everyone wants to talk to you in English. So even if they don't speak proper English, they still try. So that's what I really appreciated.
Right.
And then going over to Holland, everybody spoke English in the Netherlands. Everybody spoke the language. And the same thing in Belgium. When we got to Belgium, I was in Antwerp. Everybody spoke English in Antwerp. And when we went to Liège, that was a little difficult.
Yeah, French-speaking part definitely is different.
I picked up a little bit of French and picked up a little bit of Flemish in the times that I was there, so I can go out to restaurants and order the proper foods and all of the stuff. One time I almost ate horse when I was in, I want to say.
Good for you.
Yeah, I never ate it. I picked it up. I was like, oh, this looks like some good steak. And I asked the lady. She said, that's horse. So it was pretty good.
I can actually confirm the language thing because he's tested it this year. What do you think was the biggest challenge you faced while being overseas, like professionally on the court? Was there anything that, like adversity that struck, and how did you manage that?
I didn't have, I'm more of an outgoing person, so I didn't have a lot of difficulties on the court. I was able to adjust. I remember my first year playing in Finland, they always called travel on me because when overseas, in America, when we get the outlet, we can take 2 steps and then bounce the ball. In Europe, you got to bounce it as soon as you catch it. So I had to practice getting the outlet and putting it on the floor right away, and now starting the fast break and transition. So that was one adjustment because I couldn't understand why they kept calling travel on me. And it's like, that's not a travel. That's not a travel. Yeah. But over there, it's a travel. So once I actually started to learn the rules and understand the rules, that made it easier for me in understanding the assist. When I first started playing, if I penetrated and I kicked it out to you in the corner for a 3, they didn't count that as an assist when we first started. They only counted bounce passes that led to layups. Oh, wow. So that's how it was when we started. And then they changed it as the years went on. But in the beginning, I was looking at the thing and like,
it's not right.
4 assists. It's not right. You know your numbers now. You know all your numbers. So
count throughout the game.
Count out the game, yes. So that was it.
I'm actually very, very, very thankful that they changed that rule about the gather step. So now when you catch the ball, you actually get a 0 step, what they call, before you have to put it on the floor, even in Europe. So otherwise, that would have been an adjustment for me this coming year as well. Do you feel like there was any difference in style of play from Finland compared to the Netherlands and then in Belgium? Did you feel like they played any different, or is it like all kind of team-based? How do you think overall in Europe it basically is?
I think back when we played, they played... The first thing that I noticed when I got there, you guys were more skilled than we were. As your big guys were more skilled. They can dribble, they can do more, where our bigs in America at the time couldn't do as much as your bigs can do. I think that's the evolution of the game today, because every big is like that now today. When we first got there, the biggest difference was the skill set. I thought the levels were higher. Finland was a really good basketball place, and for something that most people never heard of, they played really good basketball in Finland. And that was the one thing that surprised me, how good the guards were in Finland. Finland had really good guards. The big men weren't as good, but the guards were really good. When I got to Holland, it was a mixture. They had like good guards in some places, and good big men in some places. So it was a little bit of both. When I got to Belgium, the level was that much higher. They had good bigs and guards. So it was like, whoa, this is a big step up. Now you got to get adjusted to the physicality. That was the biggest thing of, I was 185 pounds maybe, and these guys are big and strong. I'm like, geez, and they're huge, and they can block shots. And now I'm figuring out the rule where they can knock it off the rim. If the ball rolls on the rim, they can swat it off. And I'm like, that's goaltending, going crazy and all of the stuff, and it's not a goaltend. So it was just the physicality in Belgium at every position. It wasn't just good guards or good bigs. For sure. They had the combination of both. So that's what made it fun for me in Belgium.
Okay. And in what way do you feel like playing overseas helped to your personal contribution, like or personal growth rather? Like, how did it contribute to you as a person, like that made you the person that you are today, in a sense?
Just the culture of learning something new.
Right.
I was always willing to learn something new, always willing to try new foods, except for the shellfish and all that stuff. But everything else, I was willing to try, and talking to people and trying to pick up the language, and just the culture of how y'all lived in Belgium and the way y'all treated people. I mean, I was treated well over in Belgium. Now, everybody can't say they had a great experience, but for me, I had an awesome experience. Wouldn't change it for the world. Would do it all over again if I had the opportunity to, because it was that much fun. And I always tell anybody, if you have an opportunity to go and play, especially Belgium and Antwerp and Brussels and places like that we've been, it's awesome. It's an awesome experience. So I would definitely, recommend that to anybody who want to continue playing professional basketball. For sure.
And so going off of that, what skill or lesson that you learned while playing overseas would you think that every professional athlete, not just basketball players, should know, or,
The biggest thing is absorb everything that comes your way. Take more pictures, because I don't really have pictures like
memories.
that. The memories, I have it all in my mind, but I don't have the pictures. But I still have friends over there who can send me all that stuff. Videos of me playing. My son asked me the other day about playing video, I want to watch you play.
Right.
And that stuff is not on YouTube or any of that stuff. So I got to call back over to Belgium and get the tape sent back over me. And hopefully Fred still have all the tapes. And
They do.
He can send it over to me. And it's just that stuff. Cherish the moment. Cherish the memories. And bring it back with you. And that's where I messed up. I don't have any of that stuff. But hopefully my teammates, Louis Rowe, Roger Huggins, just all the guys that are over here that I'm still in contact with, hopefully they have some stuff that I can get, but that's kind of like my biggest regret of not having enough memories.
Okay. And so if you were to be able to go back to your 22 or 23-year-old self coming fresh out of college, what piece of advice would you give yourself?
I would say save your money. That was the biggest thing. When I first got there, coming from New York and Harlem and not coming from much growing up, and the first time you experience money and having money, I partied and I spent basically a lot of money. And it was actually Mark McSwain who told me, he said we were playing a team, another guy sitting on the end, and they're stretching, we stretching. He's sitting next to me. He probably don't even remember the story. It might bring back memories of it. But he points down there and said, "You see that guy down there?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "You think he playing because he want to play or because he have to play?" And I said, "He playing because he want to play." He said, "No, he's playing because he have to play. He don't have any money. He's broke right now. And I don't want that to happen to you. I see how you party and hang out." He said, "How much bonus money you make?" And I told him how much bonus money I make each game. So he said, "Why don't you take the bonus money that you make from each game, use that for over here and send all your money back home." And that's when the light hit, like, oh, Mark on to something now. And I started to save my money. And that was like the biggest and best thing that I could have ever done. And I think Mark McSwain, who owned like a bunch of Subways when I was over there, he started to build Subway franchises and stuff like that. So Mark did a great job. But that was the first time the light came on, and I started to send my money home. And then I'm realizing I'm saving a lot. I got a lot of money now. I got all this money at home, and I still got enough money to hang out and have a good time with the bonus money. Right. So I took games like, man, y'all better stop playing around. We got to win. We get this bonus money. So that was the change in everything that we did. But Mark McSwain was the one who kind of hit the light switch on me.
That's funny, actually, because that was going to be my next question. Like, throughout your career, what was the best piece of advice you got from somebody else? But I guess you just answered that by this last question.
Mark McSwain was the best advice that I've gotten.
And then to finish off, what would you say is the biggest or best moment or most memorable moment of your professional career, basketball career? If you had to pick one moment.
Winning the Belgium Cup in 2000 in Antwerp and winning the championship the same year.
For sure.
Because we lost, I want to say 3 years in a row. We lost the championship to Charleroi. Right. Charleroi beat us 3 years in a row. And we finally beat Ostend in the championship. We beat them in the Belgium Cup in Liège. That's where the game was played. And then we beat them I want to say we beat them 3-1 in the championship series, and we finished up the final game in Antwerp that day, and it was crazy. I don't think Antwerp has won the championship since 2000. So I think that was the last time we won the championship in Antwerp was in 2000, and it was huge. It was a celebration. I mean, it was.
I bet they still remember.
Oh yeah, they definitely remember. So we had a lot of fun that night, and just winning the championship, that was probably the most memorable. And it was just so much fun, just being out on the court with Lou, Roger, Yves Dupont.
Yeah.
We had a ball. It was a lot of fun.
Appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode, and like, share, and subscribe.